And then where did the person go? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, they disappeared.
Yeah, they did. Okay, well, they'll pop back in when they're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome, welcome. Menopause Monday, November the 11th. I can't believe it. 11/11. Today is a special day. Portal, as they say, to bring in all the good things that we're manifesting. So today, Karla, thank you so much. We have Karla Henry on today. We're so excited to have you. And I'm learning through Natalie and from your bio of all the good stuff you do. So we can't wait to jump into this to find out a little bit more. So just a little intro of you. I'm sure you can share more if I haven't
Hmm.
covered everything, but you are a certified holistic health coach, correct? Yes.
Hmm.
And what I love was when I was reading your bio is the integrative approach to with nutrition, focusing on nurturing the whole person, which I think is amazing, encompassing health, relationships, career, spirituality, and self-identity. And I thought that was incredible because to tie in that with nutrition was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So what I loved also was combining directness with compassion, my love, guiding you to make sustainable lifestyle changes that yield lasting results. So together you'll navigate menopause with confidence, knowledge, and a supportive community by your side. So this is all of what Natalie and I encompass and teach and share, and so
Hmm.
so perfect and timeless. So let's get started since we only have a quick hour.
A
What
whole
is
hour.
a whole hour? We could cover a lot in an hour, but we're gonna do it.
I know the
We're gonna do it.
And
conversation
it
goes
can
on.
feel very short as well.
Exactly. So I
Exactly.
thank, first of all, thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I'm always about the conversation because I think that's how we actually grow and move, is just the share and the sharing of the community. So today I wanted to talk about the pause in the whole menopause journey that we're on. And so what
Mhm.
I'd love to do is to start off by sharing my screen. So let me do that. Bear with me. I think I have it up here, screen. Let's get that up. Where
While
are,
Carla is organizing her
do you
her
see it?
screen, I would
Not
not
yet.
yet.
Not yet.
I'd also like to add to the lovely introduction that you did, Nikki, that on a personal level, Carla has been instrumental in my 180 shift. The mindset work that I did with her, the mindset work that I did with her circa 2014, as I prepared to leave the corporate space and go into entrepreneurship and go into, my health coaching practice. Carla was instrumental. So I know that her approach to mindset and approach to life is very, very powerful. So that's another reason that I thought Carla would be an amazing person to talk about this time of life because the mindset of it.
Mhm. It is. It is. And with that, for sure. Are you seeing my screen?
We are.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, perfect. So mine is not going to slide across. I have to manually move it because I haven't figured it out yet. But bear that in mind. Um, the whole mindset thing for me is the nutrition of your mind. And to me, that is where everything begins. It's the nourishment of your mind for you to be able to make a decision that supports you. And at this phase of our lives, we are trying to figuring out things. We see not only our bodies changing, but we see our being changing, who we are, who we used to be. And that has become such, for want of a better word, a challenge for a lot of people. It was a challenge for me. Sometimes it still is. Little things come up, and it is a journey. And I want to reiterate that to the highest power, it is a journey, and you have to give yourself grace. So, in thinking about the pause, and there's so many ways of pausing, but I came up with this. This is my own little thing here of pause in the form of, let's break it down like an acronym, to be present by having an awareness to you and simply allowing a different experience. That's really what the pause is. And I feel that as we go along in life, um, a lot of times we feel, especially at this stage, I have questioned so many things about myself. I've gone back to the stage, and don't get me wrong, all of this has come with me seeking out support and help. And I want to, underscore that tremendously. This is not an alone journey. And a lot of us, especially socialized here in Jamaica, we like to not talk about our lives. We've been told to keep it hush hush. And we're not talking about gossiping. We're talking about our own journeys, and just the sharing of what we're going through can help somebody else. Simple as that. So back to what I just said, to be present by having the P, present, by being aware of what is going on with you, and to simply, not to complicate it, to simply allow a different experience. And ideally the E, even though it's experience, it's like giving yourself a new picture, giving yourself a new perspective of whatever it is that you're going through at this time. The now self creates your future self. And that's, I can tell you, whether you want to believe it or not, how we're living today is based off of past thoughts. I believe that whatever we fertilized yesterday, I'm living it today and going forward. And that's why it's so important to actually be so present with how you're feeling now, how you're reacting and responding to something in the now. And the only way you can be that way is to be present. I wanna, before I get down into this section, Nat, do you want me to just go through the script to my stuff, or you want us, because I like a flow of conversation.
Well, I don't mind jumping in with a question that
yes.
for me is very pervasive. You know, if you go back up a little bit, right? And we're talking about up a little more, right? So allowing a different experience, right? We have a physical manifestation, which is our body, right? But we live our experience of our life in our mind. And when we are going through our day, for example, you don't see yourself, right? You are seeing the world.
Right.
You're not seeing how the world sees you, right? So these eyes are looking out at the world with the mindset and the perspective of how you're feeling, whether it's in here or in here, but this is your internal state, okay? And your internal state may be of a certain youthfulness, but you now feel that your external state, your body, how the world sees you, is changing. Your skin is a little softer, a little saggier. You've got some wrinkles. You've got these spider veins. Your physical body is no longer aligned with the way you feel and your internal state. And I think a lot of women, self included, are struggling with this, because until I look in the mirror, I feel like I'm 20. And then I look in the mirror and I go, no, girl. There's a little more mileage. It can be depressing. It can have a negative impact on how you feel and your emotions. And then that triggers a cascade of hormones and whatnot. So how does a woman manage that discrepancy, for want of a better word?
Okay. Let me take a deep breath with that one, because I think that's all of us, myself included. And as easy as what I'm going to tell you to do, it's not the easiest thing to do. And it is, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, how are you seeing yourself from the inside out? It is, because you can feel 20, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not telling you to change that at all. I wouldn't, because that's how you feel. And it's funny how we were talking about Mike Tyson before. He says he does not believe in the old word, the OLD word, because he doesn't feel that way. So we know our bodies, if you've come to accept that your bodies are changing as we get older, then that makes it a little bit easier to look in the mirror and get into gratitude about where your body has taken you from to where you are now. That has been the thing for me to accept me, because I get it. I get here, the sagginess of the neck. I have gone to the point where, depending on where I'm going out to, I will wear something that's buttoned up. I have gotten to the stage of, I don't want to put on a swimsuit out in public because the sagging. Also, let me go backwards. And I'm going to use the word released versus lost in terms of I released weight, and you know my journey with that. It has been a journey. Yes. And the releasing of weight created extra skin that, unless I go and do cosmetic surgery, it ain't going anywhere.
And Karla, you released the weight because when something is lost, you want to find it back, right?
Exactly. Oh, yes. Okay. Thanks for saying that. I don't like to say weight loss. I prefer to say weight release, because my thing is it's not coming back. I'm of the opinion and the belief and the mindset, I don't want it back. I want it to stay released. Just like when you release or you're decluttering, it's getting rid of, not to bring back. You're not asking them to come back. So it is a daily, minutely thing of you to be looking at yourself, but looking at yourself through the eyes of source, which is here. I'm hitting my heart. I don't know if you can see that part.
Yes.
It is that space of you knowing that, number one, you're enough. That's where now your belief and your affirmations have to now be aligned. You have to be in such gratitude. And I don't know if you've ever done the mirror exercise where you stand up and appreciate your body from head to toe, looking at yourself naked. You may have to start off from the head first and carry yourself down little by little, but it's that piece of being in gratitude. When I look at my legs, as much as I can find so many things to criticize them about, I have to say right now, you are making me move. You, in conjunction with my hips, are making me move. I can do so many things and I'm not even going to go to what other people cannot do. It's about me. That's where that piece comes from. It's making it about you. And yes, though we are inundated with and living and how other people are living, it is coming back at this stage of your life and appreciating who you are in this moment. And perfection, you get to define it for yourself. It's not what somebody else's life is and how they look and what they are. All of us are made up differently. We all have different life experiences, different body makeup, different cells are made up differently. But at the end of the day, we're really doing the best we can. And you have to acknowledge that. So that's a big part of accepting where you are. There are modalities and tools and so many things out there that you can do to support the physical side. But when it is not changing as rapidly, you got to go back inward.
That's right? Where it starts.
I had to do it.
That's where it starts, Karla. It's from inside. Looking outward is not. It has to start from
the outward is going, exactly. It is going to drive you. It's going to make you depressed. It's going to, and then therefore, once you make that decision to now accept your body and appreciate it for all that it has done for the 40, the 50, the 60, the 70 years that you're still here and it is still going strong, she needs to be, or he needs to be appreciated.
So other than the body tools, let's talk a little bit about tools, so Karla, because I love the exercise of the mirror part is so powerful. I know that Mel Robbins does a high five in the mirror, which I've also done. What are some more tools that can assist us in able to go inward to be able to express that? Because a lot of us, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, yes, we don't really love, are we lying to ourselves? Oh, I love your legs. Oh, I love your, what are some other tools?
Yes. Some of them, can be, all right, that's a simple tool on the external. Some of the main things, and I'll tell you what I use to support my body. What a lot of it was me doing the work and listening to where is that thought coming from? Is that my thought, or is that a thought that somebody else said? Because a lot of times how we view ourselves are based off of what other people have said, i.e. your parents, i.e. your teachers from growing up, right? And you've turned what they have said into a belief about yourself. And then therefore, as you age, now you get harder and harder and harder on yourself. So for me, what I had to do and continue to do is therapy and coaching. And it's always the inside work first. I don't care what you tell me about the outside, because we can do liposuction, we can do bariatric surgery, we can do cosmetic surgery, we can do all of those things on the outside. But until you get the inside correct and get to the root cause and shift it. Yes, and it takes time. It's not a one and done. It takes time, and it takes a strong, I have a list there. It takes a strong community to be with you. One or two friends who may be seeing you and able to say, okay, Nikki, don't go down that road. Girl, remember what you have worked on. Let me help you with this. And that's really what it is for us to create. And when I have movement, though movement can be related to community, movement is really more movement of your body. But movement of your body along with it's like putting your mind and your body and your spirit all together moving for this piece. And it only, I won't lie to you, it's not easy. It really isn't. It takes a village, right? And it takes a set of a whole lot of modalities to get this done. Another aspect, research. If it is something that you're struggling with and it really, really bothers, do a lot of research. Do a lot of research, and especially as the menopause stage that we're in, advocate for yourself, advocate for your bodies. And that's where the medical doctor component comes in. Even if a doctor tells you X, you go and do your stuff on it. Get a second opinion, a third opinion, look at what your options are.
It's 4 times 8,800, right?
Okay, hold on.
Your lifestyle, go to what is consumed. By that, I don't just mean food. I mean, what are you watching? How much time are you spending on the screen? Those are some of the things that can help you to solidify you loving on you versus looking at what somebody else is doing in their life. It's all well and good. And you know, life, we're looking at life through these filters, right? And thinking that everything is perfect.
Literally.
Everybody else's life, no, it's not. And so until you decide, it's a big decision that you have to sit and make, that you're going to come back to yourself. Now, part of that is, when I say pause from the beginning, pausing to ask yourself the question, how is this serving me in this moment? How do I get to look at this situation and ask myself, does this really support me in everything that you do, in what you eat, in what you drink, in what you partake in? And when questions or things are asked of you, you get to decide, does this carry me forward or it's going to carry me backward?
Absolutely.
And I think at this stage of our lives, especially as women, we have been such nurturers and such saying yes to every striking thing that we have left nothing for ourselves. And to me, that's what the pause, at the end of the day, that's what the pause is for you to, if somebody asks you to do something, you get to give yourself the permission to say, let me get back to you. Mm-hmm. And take that time to decide on what works for you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not been easy, Natalie. And I get what you're saying, because I look every morning. I don't care. All right. Sleep. You wrote something about sleep and men today and testosterone. Okay?
Yes.
As we age, with the collagen wanting to go somewhere else or leave us completely, you talk about hair, how about under our eyes? I think I need to sleep with some ice bags and some cucumbers on my eyes every striking night. But what I realize a big part of that is sleep. And if I'm not getting good sleep, it's that my entire body is heavy and weighed down. And the collagen that used to carry it up before, not carrying it up no more. And there's so much concealer you can put on without it looking like now you're a piece of bad work. And in this heat, when it's sweating off and it running down your face, I'm not into all of that. So I have gently Yes, I keep doing what I'm doing for it and hoping for the best, but I'm not beating up myself on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is that acceptance of self. And as I keep saying, it's a journey and it's going to take you little steps at a time. You're not going to get it. Some days you're going to beat up on yourself, but then you're going to be aware of the beat up and decide to say instead, you know what, let me find something about my body that I'm really grateful for.
I love that because, you know, we live in an age where there's countless opportunities, modalities. I offer some of them here that we can use to enhance the body, to tighten the skin, to stimulate collagen. Doctors can do a little injecting of a little something under here.
I've done all of that.
And this is the thing, is that we can continue to deal with the outside, or we can deal, or concurrently, but more importantly, we can deal with the inside. Because does your dark eyes make you unlovable?
Nope.
Exactly.
No.
Only to yourself. Only to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And even those like myself calling in your great love of life. If you're single and you want a partner and you're calling somebody, you're trying to think to yourself, oh my God, I don't look like these young girls and I don't have this and I don't have that. There are people out there who, and it starts with you loving you first, because you're not going to attract the person that's going to love you as you are until you start to love yourself.
And that is the hardest, but that's the hardest at this stage because we have so much physical aspect going on that we're focusing on the physical aspect of ourselves more than we are going internally. So when you talked about the past, which is because I just taught a class on that this morning about this limiting belief that we keep telling, these stories, these reoccurring stories that we keep telling ourselves, that we are not the way we were when we were in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, and being able to make that shift, I think is, once we are able to make that shift, the physical becomes easier to navigate. So let us go a little deeper in the able to change that limiting belief. What I mean, it's, as you said, it's easier said than done. But what are some of the things that we can start saying to ourselves? You know, is this a story that I'll never be able to lose the 20 pounds? What do you really need to lose 20 pounds? Is that what this is really about?
And that's a good question. That's a really, really good question, because another way you could ask, usually for those of us who are always, for argument's sake, struggling with weight, right? I know for me, even asking that question, I had that thing, I'll never be able to. I went into that story and that belief. And then I had to ask myself the question, which actually my therapist asked me this question: have you ever done it before?
Excellent question.
And yes, have you ever released weight before? At the time I was using weight loss. Have I ever lost weight before? Have I ever done a detox before? There are some people, the minute that they feel a headache, they stop, not understanding that your body has to heal. That's its form and way of healing. It's releasing the toxins that you have signed up for the detox for. So there is some discomfort along this journey. There is some discomfort. As long as it's not life-threatening, and you share that with whoever you're doing your detox with, there's some discomfort. And you get to ask your body to tell you what's going on. It's like a headache. And I'm not talking about a migraine headache. I'm talking about you just wake up with a headache, or you have a headache over something. And most times you haven't had enough. You're dehydrated.
Need a little water.
Yes. Number two is you could be resisting something in your life that you need to make a decision on, and you haven't done it. So your body is in this tightness, and it is no manifesting in the form of a headache, because you need now to release the pressure that's going on in there. So there are ways of us talking to ourselves, and that's why the pause is so important, because you have to stop and say, and don't get me wrong, I didn't start to pause. I used to be such a reactive person, very reactive. I didn't think once, I just reacted. I'm surprised I'm still here. You understand? But now what I've learned to do, and I'm still learning it because I'm catching myself a lot faster, is to say, okay, how am I going to respond to this?
Mm-hmm.
That supports me in this moment. It may not be what Nikki wants to hear, and I can find a way to say it in such a loving way that she gets it. Sometimes some of my responses just needs to be no. Okay, these one word answer, because we know that the minute you start to explain, you lose your ground.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
But
no is a complete answer.
Yes, and in the most cases, you have to, and I'm really pushing this, you must stop and tell people, give me a moment. In everything that you just give me one moment. So you can check within and say and ask yourself, is this for me? Because your body will tell you, you know when somebody asks you something and all of a sudden your stomach gets a knot or you feel funny. Get in with that feeling. If somebody, I give you a simple question, somebody ask you to borrow money from you. Yeah, you may have it, but you know that you're tired of this now. And let's say how you help the other person, they ask you for $100. You say, you know what, I only have 10. You'd be surprised how the conversation changes. If you don't want to tell them no, but you don't want to give them the whole thing because it puts you in a worse position. How many times have women done that, given all that they have and left themselves off in a worse position than they were before? We do it.
We all do
it all the time.
Yeah.
So it is.
Karla, you talk about your the nourishment and that it's not just what you feed your body, but what you feed your mind. And you mentioned the word detox. And I think something that's very important is for us to clean up our social media. Go through your social media.
I'm glad you said that.
And be observant of how you feel when you look at a post. And if you don't feel good when you look at a post, unfollow or tell Instagram, I don't want to see any more of this.
Yes, or unmute them. Mute them, not unmute. Mute them. Yeah. That is, I can't tell you how that has worked for me. I'm looking at somebody's post and I feel my body. And and usually the feeling could either be envy, jealousy, or you're upset with yourself. You're beating up on yourself. And all of those emotions, whether it's envy, jealousy, it's inside your body. And you get to say, you know what, I am not going to partake in this mess. Because I can tell you, those things, envy, anger, jealousy, form a lot of joint issues at this stage of our lives. All the itis, the arthritis, the cysts, the arthritis, the osteoporosis, all of those things are energetic blocks and crosses in our joints. I'm no orthopedic person, but based on energy, and I know you guys are familiar with energy work, it plays a part in there. So pay attention to how the bottom line is paying attention to you, which is what I said, and allow yourself to check in ever so often throughout the day and ask your body, how are you feeling right now? Your body has literally a CPU, which is your spirit. It communicates. It's communicating internally and it communicates with you. If you just give it that little second or two to say, how does this make me feel? You get to shift it. Certain things, back to what is consumed. We're a heavily entertained society. So we do everything for entertainment. Not saying you mustn't be involved and, enjoy entertainment, but pay attention to that as well. I used to love to have my 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 drinks when I go out. My body, that doesn't work for me anymore. I don't like how I feel. It messes up my sleep. And quite frankly, my energy, not just physical energy, but my mental energy, it don't feel good. That's the bottom line. So for me, I pay attention to those things. I am all about empowering my being so that every day I can get up and do something extra or add on to what is it that I'm creating for my future. Again, I'm going to go back over or just reiterate the community. Like exactly like what Menopause Mondays is doing is you've created a community for people to come along and share tools, share ways of being. It's just sharing and supporting so that you don't feel alone, because you can feel like this is all happening just to you, and it's realizing that it's happening for us, and it's for us to really get from it. There's so much positives to get from this journey. So many positives. Other things there, which I'm sure you have spoken about before, and this is not supplementing your life. It is not just the vitamins, the minerals, all of those things, because most of us are depleted of those things. If we were to ask, Natalie, you should know, most of us are depleted based off of just our food chain and the kinds of foods that we're eating and our lives. But there are supplements out there. I have been on the journey of HRT. That's for another conversation for those who are interested in learning more about that, or maybe have gone through that with them already. The biggest thing that I support right now in my life is my phototherapy patches, which are completely natural and just works with your body healing itself. I'm all about that our bodies have the ability to heal itself if we give it everything. And the main thing to me, it starts with here, your mind, your inners. Your inners, we've got to get our inners right.
Without a doubt. Let's talk a little bit about your phototherapy patches, because this is the first I've heard about it. Natalie had shared with me. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I mean, we have been talking about the inner work, which you're all, as we said, it's easier said than done, but we also need, support along with that. So talk to us a little bit about the phototherapy patches, what they are, how they work, benefits, all of that. Let's talk a little bit about that.
In our bodies. And stem cells, it takes the form of different cells in our bodies to help us to repair, regenerate, all of those wonderful things that we want. So these phototherapy patches, as we like to term them, it's more about age heat coming off of your bodies, right? So what the patch does, it's non-transdermal, no drug, no stimulant, nothing. It's just crystals. And it's done in the form of a kind of like a lattice work, this particular patch, which is the X39. And what it does is it puts back in some of that energy that's coming off of our bodies, the heat. When you take a temperature, you have, normal is what, 98 point something. So, there's some, right, if you feel your skin, you can feel heat, same thing. So the patch is putting back the light inside to actually stimulate a certain copper peptide in our body, which then helps to regenerate our stem cells, because as we age, our stem cells start to deplete. So hence, as we get older, you break a leg, you get a cut, you get this, we don't repair as fast as we used to. So this just helps with that. And I will say, like everything else, it's a journey. It will take us overnight to get here. And what the research says on it, and it is a patented product, what the research says on it is that the patches come in the form of a pack of 30. It works ideally with this community. I have a client that in the first week, between her hot flashes and her sleep and her energy, went through the roof. She had never experienced, she was experiencing terrible hot flashes and mood swings. That's the one thing that I think has helped me in not being as reactive and being more calm and present with how I'm thinking and feeling. I won't lie to you. I've been on the patch now for 4 months. I'm the girl that's very consistent with stuff that I like. If I don't like you, But if I like you and I know and I see the benefits and I've heard the benefits, I'm staying with it for the longest time. So for most people from the research, you need to do patching for at least 1 month for every decade of life. So I'm 57 young. Let's not say old, 57 young. So I plan to patch 6 months, 9 months. I actually plan to patch for the rest of my life, like how I do my vitamins. It's a supplement. And so that's basically what it is. It helps with building back of your collagen because it's your body doing that. It's part of your cellular. So it's all regenerative well-being. And that's what I'm all about. Anything natural. It's not, and let me just say this off. We do not treat, it doesn't treat, diagnose, cure anything. All it is doing is giving you back your light to help your body do what it was intended to do.
That's
And it's
beautiful.
fantastic. And you can use it along with, if you're on medication, for most people on medication, yes. The only two areas that we haven't seen any research on for obvious reasons are people who are pregnant, and that's a personal choice, and for people who are going through cancer, and that's a personal choice for them as well. So no research was done on those types of people, but you can put it on from children, babies, all the way up to whatever.
And when you put it on, you just leave it on? I mean,
you leave it on, you put it on 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Now, if, for instance, you put it on and you're just highly sensitive, because it works really well with your acupressure points. If you've ever done acupuncture, there are different points on the body where you have more stronger nerve endings. And then it works along with that as well. But you can actually put it on any part of your body.
And so 12 hours on and then
12 hours off to allow your body to restore and regenerate, which now the sleep comes in because it really helps with that.
So would you say that the 12 hours on would be better maybe at nighttime or during the day?
It depends. Ideally, for this particular patch, the X39 is in the daytime. Though my 91-year-old mother, I have patched her. And for her, the nurse has said it's better for her to do it in the evening, because in the daytime, her energy is through the roof. And because at that age, they're resting a lot. And so it kept her up through the night. So we switch it to putting it on at night, like around 6. And then she sleeps right through the night. And then when she gets up, she has that kind of like leftover or energy just starting, but it's not as strong as if we patch her in the daytime. But most people use it during the day.
It's very interesting. I never even heard about it before. Natalie had shared it with me. I think that's incredible. And I mean, during menopause, this is ideal because we all know we struggle with energy. Energy is a big one in menopause. So if we can get something that's natural that helps us boost up that, my God, this is fantastic.
Yes. And the brain health is where it starts first, to be honest with you. Yeah. So
and there's the research is on PubMed, it's not
there's tons of it in that list.
It's not little hokey research, it's proper.
Right. At there's a website that I can share with everybody, whoever is interested. And it has everything. It has all of those medical stuff in there. the PubMed stuff that you saw.
Yeah, well, share that article with me, please, because when I send it out, when I send out the replay with the recordings, I like to give extra.
I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link as well.
Yeah, because
Nikki says in the comments that it's the best sleep of her life and no more body and joint pain since she's been patching. Okay, and Sanchez says she needs about 10 patch.
See, for all you can. All right. You know what? Another thing I wanted to bring up, Natalie, you're a carnival girl, right? And that whole thing of when you hear women when they go out, and men too, when they're winding down and they can't come back up, or they're getting up and the knee give you snap, popple, and crack like Rice Krispies. I can tell you, and it's 4 months for me now, I don't have those pop, crackle, pop sounds anymore. And I can go down and get back up with ease without holding on. So I know something is happening in my joints. I'm not in, so that is the biggest thing for me. I pay attention to stuff like that. But back to what we're saying, the pause. This is how we pause and know and ask ourselves what is going on in our bodies.
Yeah.
We have to. And the self-talk is very important.
So because you started out by saying food is not just food, you know, it's the nourishment of the whole body. When you said supplements, I mean, I appreciate you reminding people that supplements are important. But where I thought you were going with that is supplements on a on a more spiritual,
Oh,
holistic level.
yes.
So yeah,
I didn't get to
we
finish
need
that
our
thought.
vitamins, we need our minerals, we need our
Mm-hmm.
magnesium and our omega, we need all that stuff. But we also need to supplement our mind. We
Absolutely.
need to feed our mind. We need to infuse
Mm-hmm.
positivity,
Absolutely.
self-love reminders.
I have a friend, she has a home, a vacation home actually, by a river. And I
Mm,
said to her all the time, journaling is another tool that you can use to write down how you're feeling and how you want to feel. It's okay to express how you're feeling. Because you remember when I don't know when if you all did Dear Diary when you were growing up. I did. But I used to
mm,
Dear Diary all about the crosses that were going on in my life in my teenage years, right? And that's usually boy stuff, right?
yes.
And but now, as I've gotten older and I've learned how to commune with myself, I've learned that I believe what I write becomes real. So I'm going to write what I want. And I get to check in with how I'm feeling about myself. I get every night, I've developed a practice and I've been doing it for 3 years now. I have a little book. It's about the size of this. You can see it?
Yes.
Mhm.
It's about all the size of my palm. Half the size of this little book is by my bedside. And it's dated already. And in every night I go in and I write, what am I grateful for that day? Because I believe that what you're grateful for, and you've heard Oprah say it, the more you're grateful is the more you get of what you're grateful for. Because you're telling God, source, universe, I want more of this because it felt good. And that's why journaling for me has been about creating my life, writing about the things that I want more of versus the things you can write down the things that you don't want and tear it up because you know what it is and put it to rest. And then you get to reframe, reignite, reinvent yourself. I've had to do that. That's a whole nother course in and of itself, how to reinvent and how to even reframe relationship with current parents, past parents, parents who have passed, and even past relationships. You get to change all of those and all of those experiences. But again, that's a different journey. That's not fun. Oh, that's like a 6-month program. However, but at the same time, yes, Natalie, you get to do all of those things. So go to the beach, take time for yourself. If it is that you can only give yourself an hour in the day, go and have some tea at the tea house by Devon House and just listen to the nice sounds in there. Go, if you can go buy some water, buy a water fountain or a water something, a water treatment. I don't know. Go and get a manicure, go and get a pedicure, do something that's going to feed you. And in doing that, put do not disturb on this, please.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It distracts you from you. And then what happens is your ego comes in and starts to beat you up. This could have been you. Why you don't look like this? Look at your legs. Look at your face. Look at your eyes. Look at your skin. You could do better. Look how she's doing better than you. And don't get me wrong, for me, those voices came from my parents. I had to know that to be able to change it. So now when somebody says something to me, it doesn't faze me. I get to go back in and say, okay, yeah, that touched me, but I don't have to respond the way I would have in the past.
Right.
Because I get to pause. So that's what this journey of being in menopause is teaching me. It's still teaching me because we're going to have it, as they say, for the rest of our lives, maybe. But maybe not all the symptoms will be following us if we start to do the work now and start to really develop a relationship with yourself, with your spirit, and with your body. Actually, with your
When you
spirit.
talked about the reinvention, which is what I love, and that's what I teach because I do a course on that, is
Awesome.
being able to, yeah, I do a course. I'm actually doing it now, a 6-week course on being able to reinvent yourself. And I think for women at this stage of their lives, it is vital to know in this second chapter of your life that you have the power to to reinvent. It's not changing. It's really not about changing because some women view change. Some people view change as something
A lot
very
of.
difficult to,
Absolutely.
why do I need to change that or whatever. It's more reinventing. It's a rebirth experience that we have with our bodies and with our minds. And the fact that we get to
Absolutely.
pause, and I love the fact that you use that, the word pause, with the
Mm-hmm.
menopause, we're able to recreate relationships with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
recreate relationships with our significant others, our children. We're empty nesters, where kids are getting, they're older, they're off.
Mm-hmm.
You a mother or you're a mentor now? What is your
Mm-hmm.
role to these adult
Mm-hmm.
children that you have? And I think that what we're talking about here is so powerful in being able to see that it's not changing. It is more reinventing ourselves to
Mm-hmm.
this beautiful person that you're meant to be stepping into at this stage of your life. And I think that it's
Oh,
how we
yes.
view things. It's how we view things,
It's how
Karla.
you look at it. Exactly. It goes back to how you're looking at it. And even the relationship with our bodies. We now get to, if it is that you're not comfortable wearing the types of clothes you used to wear when you're younger, there's so many different styles. I am a bohemian at heart. I like flowy stuff. And there's so much beautiful clothing out there. And
Mhm.
we should be wanting, even with this, for those of us who are still experiencing hot flashes or uncomfortableness in our bodies, wear loose and cool clothing. There's some very flowy, sexy ways of dressing.
You
Change your
touched it.
hair.
Sexy
There
ways,
are
sexy
ways.
ways.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, there are so many ways of you can reinvent just by changing your hair color, your hairstyle. You can change your inners of your home. Maybe the color scheme, you are all into color and now you like muted colors. There's a way
Mhm.
to do that as well. So there's so many things that we can change to add now, like like when people say you lift my spirit, lifting back up your spirit, which is more of a reconnecting you to your spirit, so that you can now enjoy, make these little changes little by little, and then now you can enjoy your life and be more comfortable with where you're going.
Without a doubt. Love
Yeah,
that. No,
yeah.
without a doubt.
But I love
It's
what you're doing, Nikki, that reinventing thing. Trust me. Yeah,
No,
I had to
it's difficult.
revise.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I've been through it. I mean,
so
I'm
have
doing this
I.
because just like you go through it and you need to show to women that it doesn't have to be this way. I mean, there's so much verbiage on social media and all of that about this is
Yeah,
the way it's supposed to be and this is what, and that's a load of
no,
crap in my
yeah, it
eyes.
is.
Yep.
It's a
And
load of
what we
crap.
are doing is cutting down the time that it would take you, what it took us to get to this stage, because we did
Exactly.
a lot. We have done a lot of years of doing this work to crunch it down so that we can help you to get there faster.
Absolutely. But it's
Yeah,
but for women, they have to want the change. They have to be
absolutely.
committed. They have to be committed that this is the change that they want. And know that, as you said in your slide, further down, there's
Yeah.
so many ways of support
Mm-hmm.
to
Yep.
create, where to start, therapy, coaching, journaling,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
supplements, the go to therapy. I mean, this list alone is incredible of
Yes.
how much resource, how much options that we have to choose from, that it doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
to be the way it's supposed to be, as they say,
Exactly.
on this menopause
They
journey.
they have to decide, and also once you decide, commit. And once you commit, get the support. There's so much support out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much
And
local
uncommit
support.
from your story.
Huh?
Uncommit from your stories, because a
Yes.
lot of the times we hold on to stories that
Mm-hmm.
no longer serve us, and we
Oh,
don't
good
realize
God.
that they're not serving
And
us
it wasn't
anymore.
your story to begin with.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
If you really analyze it, remember, a lot of us at this age, our parents didn't have this wealth of information. So
Yeah.
they pretty much copied what their parents did, and it kept going from that. And now we are in this space where a lot of us, myself included, and I'm sure you too, trial and error. You have done so many things you have tried, and now you have come down to a toolbox that really works. And we still ebb and flow with that, because sometimes at a different phase of our life, what we did today or what we did yesterday doesn't really work today. Like I tweaked my protein smoothie this morning, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going back to the old one. This new one that I tried not working. The
Mhm.
taste wasn't right. It's the same thing with life. But
Yeah.
you get to decide. You get to decide. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that was, I mean, I've had to make decisions but I had to have a team effort to make certain decisions as it relates to my health and my life. I
So,
made a decision.
yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I'm a coach, but I have coaches that get me through this. I know
Oh,
Natalie is the
absolutely.
same. Is that
Same here.
you need support, and you're not alone in this. And a lot of women do feel
Yeah.
that if they speak up about it, there's shame, there's guilt, there's all of that that comes in, embarrassment, and being vulnerable is so powerful. It's so powerful on your journey.
There's one word I forgot to put in there beside community, or it's to find a safe. I wanted to put that word in there, safe, because
A
you just
safe
touched a
place.
word a while ago, Nikki. You want a place where you can be vulnerable and that you know that what you share is not community property, meaning that they're going out on the street with it. That's, I think, a big thing here in such a small space like this country, where we are afraid of what others are going to say about us and
Mhm.
and talk our stuff. But if you need help, there's one-on-one with, and if you need community, there are communities out there that create safe spaces just for that.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
a doubt,
And
because they
yeah.
need that space, a safe
Mhm.
space for women to share. Some
Mhm.
women don't, they're happy to be vulnerable and share, which is amazing because even on this
I'm
forum, I
one of
mean,
those, yes.
we did a mini panel, last week or the week before, I can't remember, it was the week before, where Natalie, myself, and two other ladies were very vulnerable, shared their
Mhm.
HRT stories, their
Mhm.
menopause journey. And I cannot tell you the feedback I know personally I got, my DMs and
Mhm.
my WhatsApp, but thank you for being vulnerable because we are the voice for women who just haven't
Absolutely.
found their
Yeah.
voice yet. And in the
Yeah.
pause, you will find your voice. It
You
is
will.
there. It's
It is
there.
there. It's absolutely, because if I said everybody get quiet right now, put down your phone and everything and just breathe and listen to your breath is going. There's some words in there. If you just listen good,
Mhm.
there's some words in there. In that feeling of calmness, you will hear it's going to be okay, or it is
Mhm.
okay. You will hear it. And
Absolutely.
yes, self-talk is not a mad people thing, people. You have
Mhm.
to talk to yourself. If not, you're going to keep perpetuating the same crap, expecting something different to happen. And this new phase of our journey of our life, we get to be so powerful. And I don't know if you have
Amen.
men on the call, but as women, we are Wonder Woman in this earth, and we have a power that we have not touched or tapped into.
Yep, without a
So
doubt.
true.
Yeah.
No,
So true.
no, and I love the fact when we're talking about, our stories, which as we've mentioned here several times, about we carry our stories through from our generations prior to that. But I also feel that social media does prey on us with that
Mm-hmm.
story because
Mm-hmm.
some women have
Yes.
terrible hot flashes, some women don't. The women that don't have hot flashes, they think maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't have hot flashes. I must be having hot flashes because I'm in menopause. Therefore, then they create this story, which then we know builds and builds and builds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us to identify what are the
Mm-hmm.
beliefs that are keeping us back from getting the results that we want? What are these
Mm-hmm.
stories, these beliefs that is stopping us from, whether it is the way,
Mm-hmm.
letting go of that, whether it's a toxic relationship that we can't seem to let go of, all of these things
Mm-hmm.
in menopause. And I love the
That's
fact that you
weight.
touched on
That's
that.
weight, Nikki. That's
Exactly.
weight. It may be energetic weight, but that sometimes is the biggest weight why you have weight physically on your body
Mhm.
because you won't let go of something that you know you're to let go of.
Absolutely. And I love
Yeah.
that. I think that it's important for us as women at this stage is to
Mm-hmm.
identify what is it that is holding us back from getting these results that we crave. We don't want to have the hot flashes. We want to drop a few extra pounds. We want to feel inclusive. We want. What is it that is holding us back in this moment
Mm-hmm.
of going into that pause and seeing this is what it is. This is
Mm-hmm.
how I can change the story. It's not an overnight
Mm-hmm.
fix, as you said, but being able to let go of that story so we can bring in these amazing results that Natalie has seen, I've seen,
Absolutely.
you've seen, we've all
Yep.
done it.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
story.
Absolutely. It's the story.
The
And
story.
we just keep pressing play, rewind and play, rewind and play.
Absolutely.
We don't press
It's
the
the devil.
record.
It's the devil, you know. It's the,
Yeah.
Comfort zone. There's a lot of comfort zone in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom used to always say, I can't help it, Natalie. That's the way I've always been.
Exactly.
Okay. But
And
you
you see,
don't have
that generation didn't have, again, a lot of what we have now.
Yeah.
So that's how we get to rewrite our story, because we know that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's to own that too, though, you know, Karla. A lot of women, it's to own that power that we have to rewrite our story. We are the author of our lives, and we get it's to own the fact that yes, hell yes, I can rewrite this entire script.
Absolutely. And one thing, I was talking to my sister this morning about this. Just know that the minute that you decide to do something, and once that you're committed to it, just like how you heard me talking about having detoxing, like Natalie and her detox, or even me being, patching, my body is letting out and releasing things that are not so special. But because I made a decision and I committed to this for my health and my well-being and everything with it, you push through, because the tests will come along to see if is that the universe is saying to you, are you really sure you want to do this? Like, things in life happen. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say you decide, I'm cutting out sugar out of my diet. And what happens immediately? You get invited to a birthday party. You get invited somewhere. You know that when you go to this particular party, the drinks are amazing, the food is amazing, and oh my God, the desserts are amazing. You now get to decide when you're in front of it, am I going to eat what I normally eat? Am I going to you get to decide. In everything that we do, we're making a decision, whether you like it or not. When you don't make a decision, you have made a decision. Please understand that. But you always, if you pay attention to life will come up to say to you, are you sure this is what you really want? In the form of, and some of us will call it a test or whatever it may be, but it's coming up in front of you to say, are you still sticking to your decision?
How resolute are you?
Exactly.
It's awareness, though, and I love that, Karla, because it's awareness. A lot of women are not in awareness of what is coming up, when it's coming up, and why it's coming up, and at this moment. And it's awareness to really, as you said, to go within and ask the question.
I'll give you a funny example. I was at somebody's birthday thing the other day at Mingles, and decided I wasn't really hungry, but somebody ordered some loaded fries, and I know myself with fried foods outside of my own yard. And I decided to taste the fries. And I kid you not, a few moments after, I felt a gripe in my stomach. And I said, And though I could have ignored it, I could have put down 1 gallon of water, I could have put down all manner of things with this thing. But this is how, in the height of the party, I did a beeline and left and went to my yard. Most people probably would have gone to the and I'm telling you, this is made TMI, I don't care. Most people probably would have gone to the bathroom in the hotel. I was like, no. I needed to support my body in that moment and give it a relaxed state to release what it needed to release.
Absolutely.
In that moment. It's like when you're out at an event, I'll never forget being at I think it was a Frenchman's party or something. You remember that year when a stage collapsed? I don't know if you remember. There was a time. Okay. I have been at parties and my spirit tells me it's time to go. And I'm like, no. No. And I listened, and I'm happy that I listened after fighting with it. When you
Mhm.
know, your body will tell you.
Mhm.
It will say to you, Miss, it's time to go.
Mhm.
That's why
Yep.
when you hear some people will say, Lord, you're just unlucky or you're in the wrong place at the wrong, your body was telling you.
Mhm.
Your
Again, we come
spirit was
back to
telling you.
awareness.
And
We come
again,
back to awareness.
awareness and pausing to say, Lord, something don't feel right.
Mhm.
How many times have we said that to ourselves and ignore it? They say that women that we have the sixth sense. It's you're being spoken to. Stop and listen.
Intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the more you listen to it, the more it will guide you.
it will.
Yeah.
I can tell you that as a fact, because I know I wasn't hearing nothing before. I used to call it gas. Now I am hearing because I give it time. And it's not the whole heap of time, you know.
No.
It can take like all 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. You will just hear what to do. If you just ask, like, you know, God speak through me or God tell me what to do here. God, I can't, something. And it comes to you right away. If you pause and ask and give it back the time. That's what I say. Prayer is asking. When you meditate, to me, is pausing and getting quiet to hear.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
It's the pause. And, you know, we talk about pause with menopause. We talk about pause with our spirit. We talk about pause with being able to not be reactive. I
With
just think for
relationships and with our bodies.
relationships, everything, I think using pause in every way and everywhere is so powerful in giving us ourselves the choice to choose
Absolutely.
to change.
To
The ability
choose
to
the
choose.
best
Yeah.
response in the
Yeah.
moment.
For
That
sure.
that literally, and usually that best response supports everybody
Absolutely. But
because
Yeah.
it
you
comes from a
yourself
place of
first.
love. Because it comes
Absolutely.
from a place of love.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Karla, this has been wonderful, and I want to read this thing because I think it's amazing that you have on the screen. Let's decide
Absolutely.
to be the light for ourselves first and then to others. And I think
Thank
that
you.
is so powerful. What you have shared with us, Karla, is
Thank
amazing
you.
because it does start with us. And we cannot,
Yes.
as I tell my clients, as they say, they tell you on an airplane that you must put on your mask first before you help
Always.
others. And I
Yes.
think, especially for women in menopause, you put on your mask first and serve yourself first before you can share the light and be the light for anybody else.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah. We
beautiful.
must always share from the overflow. And I thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Oh, Karla, this has
Yeah.
been
I love
wonderful.
this. You know, I love the conversation. And
Yes.
so any kind of environment with that, I really love the conversation.
Thank you so much for giving us your
Thank you.
time. And as I said, you're going to give me our contact information,
Yes,
the
I'll give you
article,
stuff.
and all of
Yeah.
that, so I can send it out to the replay for all of these lovely ladies who have signed up
Absolutely.
for this, so they can contact you. So thank you so much,
Oh
Karla.
God,
Thanks,
thank you,
man.
thank you, thank you. I
And
Thanks,
really, really
Karla.
appreciate
yes,
you
I
both.
think we had a lovely
Bye.
gent on our call today, Paul. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Yes,
yeah,
because the men are important. We can't forget that
absolutely,
we're in, some of us are in relations with them. So
absolutely, my
we have
love.
to support them and let
They're
them feel
there.
supported. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you
thank
so
you,
much. Have a good
ladies.
Monday, guys.
Bye.
Alrighty,
Lots of love.
bye-bye.
All
Love,
right,
love.
bye.